Hey everyone, I'm Will, and in this video I'm going to be giving you my thoughts and feedback on the Sony 12-24mm f2.8 ultra wide lens. So I've owned this lens for 4 years and I've been using it non-stop since that time. I purchased this lens myself, so it wasn't given to me by Sony. So the feedback I give you guys, it's going to be all honest feedback, the good and the bad. Why would you use such a wide lens? I love using the wide angle lens in landscape photography. It really helps me capture the big grand landscape. If you haven't used one of these lenses before, please check out this video right here. Let's just jump straight into the pros and cons. It is so handy being able to shoot a 12mm versus 16mm. And initially, like I said, back in the day, I thought 12 would be overkill, but I got used to having that extra width very, very fast. So if you're shooting at 16 currently and you're wondering if you're going to take advantage of being able to go 12, I'd say you probably will. And it's particularly suitable for mountain scenes. So if you're in a steep valley with big peaks, you have to be close to the mountains though. You don't want mountains far away, they'll look way too small. But subject matter that is very close, mountain valleys, sea stacks, even here in the forest, it allows you to get really close to subject matter such as the trees, fit it all in, but then include foreground, midground, and obviously that background. So is it worth getting that extra width? Absolutely, and I'd find it really hard to ever go back to just having something like a 16-35. Now, we need to address some of the issues here with this lens. First and foremost, if you use filters, I don't use filters, but if you're a person using polarizer ND filters, you can't screw on filters here because it has the built-in hood, so you have to get a pretty big clunky system to hold the filters in place. The other factor is the curvature of the lens. Look how fat that bulbous front is there, that glass. Now what's the downside there? Well, one of the big downsides, it catches the rain very easy and it stretches the rain. So even the smallest of raindrops will be quite exaggerated. So that's one little issue. The other issue that I've found is, I've had this happen to myself as well as clients, the coating on these lenses, when you're cleaning it constantly and shooting in the rain a lot like I do, I found that I think the coating's been lifted off, and this lens, and you've seen me talk about this in many videos, it is a pain in the butt to clean. Once it gets wet, you feel like you're just wiping that moisture round and round. It doesn't matter what cloth you're using, it's really hard to clean, to the point that I don't really use this lens on rainy days anymore. I opt for the Laowa 10mm or the Sony 16-35. So just something to keep in mind there. If you're shooting in the elements, it is a little bit of a hassle. Now that said, I will say that despite having that big bulbous curved front, it goes really well when it comes to sun flares. So a lot of cheaper lenses, you'll get a real nasty flare come through when you're shooting at the sun. The 12-24mm, it's not something I ever have to really think about. So let's pull up now. We've got the sun coming in and I've got the backlight right there. I'm going to close this f-stop down to f7. We can see the nice sunstar, and as I move this frame around, down, left and right, not a single flare at all. And on that note, even if we shoot with a sunstar, which I'll do now, f13, it does give off a relatively nice sunstar, some very small flares in there, nothing major, but we're not getting the big nasty flare down in the foreground. And that's a huge perk of this lens. The lens is sharp when your aperture is wider open, so the f-stop is lower. f5, f7, f8, mwah, beautiful, tack sharp, very impressive. Even on the corners, it's quite good. So typically, if I can, f8 is my go-to aperture. So I'll shoot at f8 now, and I'm just going to push playback. We'll zoom in. That's all the way zoomed, very tight on those ferns in the midground area. And now as we pull out, and then we'll just move along and check the corners here. Really impressive, especially in those corners where an ultra wide lens would typically suffer. It's quite good. The downside, often f8 won't give me the depth of field that I need. If I'm getting really close to foreground, maybe I'm getting in amongst these ferns here, which is typically what I'd be doing, really low and close, f8's just not going to cut it. This is where you'd need f11, f16. Those apertures on this lens, man, you notice it very quickly how soft it gets. Now, it's not a deal breaker. I still shoot at those apertures, but if you can, you definitely want to avoid it. It's night and day difference from f8 to say f16. That is common for most lenses, but I've just found it really noticeable with the 12-24 compared to say the 16-35, which I think works better when you have those higher f-stops. So it's just something to keep in mind. Let's maybe talk about using this lens in the real world environment, and we'll do a comparison from 16mm to 12mm. This scenario right here is exactly why I like having ultra wide lenses, particularly this lens where I'm getting close to subject matter. I've got a massive fern tree right here, beautiful backlight, so we'll get a bit of a sunstar coming through potentially. But then I've got all the crown ferns in the foreground, so I want to be able to use those to create depth and lead the eye through the frame. I'll position myself where the light is just coming in, and that's how we get our little sunstar, somewhere around here. So this is at 16mm, and one of the problems is I'm not fitting in much of our ferns in the foreground, and this tree, the fern tree, the main subject, we've got a nice sunstar, but the tree's getting cut off. So your only option if you had the 16 would be to walk away. If you walk away though to fit more in, obviously the subject matter is going to get smaller. Now when I go to 12mm, you can see how much more it's letting us fit into the frame. Now I'm getting the entire fern tree in, and compared to go back to 16, that's 16. So it just opens things up, and you can imagine when you're out in the landscape, maybe it's a mountain environment, seascape, you name it, any scenario in landscape photography, having that extra width just allows you to get more creative with your compositions and create these little natural frames using branches, you know, ice hanging down, whatever it is. That's why I said earlier, the wider the better. Why not? Would it be nice if it was tighter than 24mm? Absolutely. I wish it would go to 35mm, but I'd rather have that extra room on the wide end because obviously I've got a mid-range to go from 28, 24 to 100, something like that. So the big question, what is the lens for you? Should you go upgrading or should you go buy this lens compared to something like say the 16-35? Well, it's a tough one. It comes down to the budget, and it kind of comes down to the lens that you already have. I'm going to say now, if you already have a 16-35, I don't really think it's worth upgrading and getting the 12-24. I would say if you already have a 16-35 or something similar, and you're looking for a little bit more room on the wide angle side, get something like this, the Laowa 10mm prime. This is going to give you a little bit more width than the 12, and it's a lot cheaper. And it's quite light, so it wouldn't be too bad to carry along a 16-35 with the 10mm. If you don't have an ultra wide angle lens already, and now you're starting with a clean slate, once you shoot on the wider side of things like 14, 12, and obviously 10, it just opens up way more creative opportunities for you. So I'd be looking for something like 12-24, Sigma 14-24. I haven't used that, but that's a good focal range as well. I wouldn't go getting just a prime lens though, it's not versatile enough. So I'd still be looking at a zoom, but go wider than the 16. Food for thought, the 12-24 is a lot heavier and more expensive than the 16-35 as well. So there's so many things to consider. It comes down to budget, it comes down to the lenses that you already have. But all in all, I say that this is a really good lens. The biggest downside for me is its ability to be cleaned when it's wet, and maybe that's because I've rub the coating off over time. I'm not sure. If it wasn't for that, you know, it would be pretty hard to fault it. Yes, it's quite heavy, but whatever. Lots of things to consider, but all in all, it has been a good lens for me over the years. It's over 4 years now, and I've been using this day in and day out all that time and putting it through a lot of different conditions and different lighting scenarios and in the rain. All right guys, thanks for checking out this video. There's so many things you could talk about with lenses, so if you have any questions specifically, just leave them below. More than happy to get back to you. Like I said, this is not a sponsored video whatsoever, so I'll just lay it out and tell you how it is. But all in all, I've been pretty happy with this lens. I think it's a great lens, but at the end of the day, there's so many good lenses out there and it really is quite subjective. It comes down to how you like to shoot and the subject matter that you're most interested in. Anyway, that's enough from me. Hopefully I'll see you in another video shortly, and like I said, leave any questions or comments below. Cheers.